As the clean-up from Storm Chandra continues for a second day, the National Emergency Coordination Group has warned of the potential for further flooding in the coming days. In addition to a yellow rain warning in effect in the southeast at the moment, a second warning has been issued for 7 counties tomorrow. The Minister with responsibility for the Office of Public Works, Kevin Boxer-Moran, spent the day visiting areas worst hit by Tuesday's storm and met with homeowners and businesses whose properties were flooded. Well, let's go to Enniscorthy now, where the Slaney River burst its banks and caused extensive flooding this week. Mark, what is the situation there this evening?
Well, Sharon, the situation here is that the rain has continued to fall most of today here in Enniscorthy, and that rainfall has the relevant authorities here on high alert. They say that the next 24 hours could prove critical, particularly that rainfall that falls tomorrow. It will gauge whether or not the risk of flooding here could be possible again. All this, of course, coming on the back of Storm Chandra in the early hours of Tuesday morning when the river here burst its banks, and you saw those pictures over recent days of that flooding here in the town, which only receded properly or fully yesterday evening. Now, as you mentioned, the Minister for the OPW, Kevin Boxer-Moran, he visited Enniscorthy today and he spoke with the impacted home and business owners. Prior to that, the Minister also visited South Dublin today and Arklow and Wicklow.
Saturated homes and ruined belongings.
It's a horrid mess.
Ministers toured the worst affected areas impacted by Storm Chandra today. Anger was expressed by residents in Rathfarnham in South Dublin, who said there was a delayed response by the local authority.
We got no help from South Dublin when it was all happening. No help whatsoever. We were totally on our own. It was a real sink or swim.
There was a river in that estate there.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly.
And this lady is correct. You talk about sand. That looks lovely for a soundbite for RTE. But the fact of the matter is, when she rang up, there were no soundbites of it.
Residents expressed concern that the flooding could happen again.
There's frustration that we have a weather forecast in the next few days that is likely to bring more water. The water table already indicates that the ground is saturated, and we are still awaiting delivery of sandbags.
Minister of State for the Office of Public Works, Kevin Boxer-Moran, promised a full investigation into the source of the flooding. It was then on to the village of Aughrim in County Wicklow for the Minister, where families were clearing out flood-damaged homes and trucks were being filled with ruined belongings.
It's an absolute disaster. Washing machines, cookers, fridges, freezers, food, presses, everything's gone. All your back garden, all your sticks, your coal, everything you'd stored up, all gone, everything's gone.
As the clean-up continues, residents say they hope action will be taken to prevent a repeat of this week's flooding. Aisling Kenny, RTE News.
2 days on from Storm Chandra, and the full impacts of the River Slaney bursting its banks are only now properly sinking in.
All gone in one day, yeah.
Not even one day, 3 hours.
That was a couple of hours. And
in 3 hours,
6
years of work just disappear.
The business simply want to see action. We've had enough reports, we've had enough evidence that there's a major issue in Enniscorthy. We just simply need action, and we need action now. This is an emergency.
Visiting the town this afternoon, the Minister with responsibility for flood relief, Kevin Boxer-Moran, confirmed that a long-awaited flood relief scheme for Enniscorthy would have to go through the full planning process. However, the Minister also said he's considering more short-term solutions to help alleviate the problem.
We want to come in with some interim solutions. We're looking at pumping, we're looking at flood barriers, as I say, as an interim measure while we wait for the application, the full planning application to go in.
The Minister then met with impacted home and business owners in the town.
The money was allocated for the flood barriers. That was in 2000.
20 years ago we were talking about this, the very same things, and nothing has been done.
We have heard it all before, you know. It's there for the last 25 or 6 years. You know, this happened in 2000, and it happened a lot of times since. But this is as bad as it was in 2000, actually, as bad as and worse. Now, we just can't keep going on doing it.
Despite these concerns by residents about previous false promises, Minister Moran said he remains committed to solving the problem of flooding in Enniscorthy.
And Mark, with warnings issued now for the risk of further flooding, what is the feeling there tonight?
Well, a real nervous apprehension here this evening, Sharon. We spoke to many businesses and homeowners in recent days who began the clean-up process. Well, we spoke to some today as well who opted to just hit the pause button, if you like, and that's because they feel they could be submerged in water again tomorrow, or indeed right through into the bank holiday weekend. That's the warning here from council officials, that given the already saturated ground, the high river levels here of the River Slaney, and the fact, as you mentioned, that rain warning will end tonight at midnight, but another status yellow rainfall warning for the southeast and Dublin coming into effect at 9 a.m. tomorrow right through until midnight on Saturday, that there is a significant risk of flooding, and perhaps we could find ourselves back in a condition or a state here like we were earlier in the week.
Southeast correspondent Mark O'Driscoll from Enniscorthy in Wexford. Thank you.